when you're a beautiful person, when you're a soft-hearted person, when you love deeply, when you were wounded easily, it's difficult to handle criticism. It's very difficult to handle attacks. And typically, people like us go into a deep sadness when we are attacked, when people tell us things that we don't want to hear. Welcome back to the channel. I'm David, and I'm the Hope Coach. And I'm here to help you to overcome these kinds of difficulties, because I believe there's a bit of an epidemic going on where people are so sensitive to their environment that when something happens that's out of the norm, unexpected, unwanted, you can become a shell of your former self. And I'm guilty of this too. Just wanted to show you where I am today. I'm in beautiful Melbourne. My wife and I are staying here with our dog, and the weather has been magic. So I'm loving doing these talks for you each day. And I hope that you're finding value from them, because I couldn't think of a more enjoyable thing to do than to share my experiences. And they're not easy to share because we're talking about pain, darkness, sadness, hurt. And it's difficult to talk about those things. But if I don't talk about it, then it lives inside me. And that's worse than not talking about it, however hard that might be. And recording it is really important, even if nobody's watching. That's okay. But if somebody watches, even if it's just one, and they're helped by it, and they're lifted out of that dark place that they're in, that pit, then I'm overjoyed. So why am I talking about this? Well, if you're real with yourself, you'll realize that there really is something going on. People are more sensitive. People are more sensitive than I feel that they've ever been in their life, in my life. And the resiliency of people seems to have evaporated. It's very rare that I meet somebody that is able to face an obstacle and come away from it, wounded still, but successfully come away from it and move on and move upwards. And I've spoken about the coaching that I've had, the business coaching from the Home Service Business Coach. And it's all about that resiliency. It's not about how to use a pressure washer. It's about how to get back up when life knocks you down. And sometimes you can even do it with a smile. Okay, so I've had the privilege of having some really beautiful people work in my business. And they're from a refugee background. Burmese, or Myanmar as some know it, and they call themselves Karen. They're absolutely beautiful people, but they're from a background where they don't typically seem to be able to communicate in a way that I'm used to, at least, and that could be my fault, that I'm expecting something from them that they don't have within them. But when you're running a business, communication is crucial. Clear communication is the difference between winning and losing. And so I'm over the two and a half years that I've been employing these refugees, I've been aware of this, and I've been taken by surprise when they don't communicate in the way that I would expect. They go silent when I ask them something. They don't respond when I ask them to respond. They suddenly quit without even handing in their notice. They just disappear. Or they finish up on a Friday, and when I give them the schedule for the Monday, they say, I'm already working for somebody else. So that's difficult to handle. It's difficult to run a business when people cannot be entirely relied upon. Now you might say, well, David, pay them more. Or David, just be aware of their communication shortfalls, differences. Well, the truth of the matter is we pay them typically at least 30% more than they can get as a cleaner in any other business. We are very aware that it's a very physical job, and when it's so physical, you can burn people out very easily. So what we do, most days, even though they're employed full time, let them go home an hour and a half, 2 hours early. We even have days where they finish at midday. We give them flexible working arrangements so they can start when they want. They can drop off their children at school and then start after that. They can finish when they want so they can pick up their children. We think it's a wonderful balance and a really good lifestyle, and yet they still leave and we can't understand it. I'd love to be employed by me, I think. And I'm happy for you to put in comments that I'm wrong. I'd love some advice if it's constructive. If you've been through something similar and you've got the solution, that'd be wonderful. Please reach out, because we really do want to bless these people and understand them. And that's really important to us. Now, what is it about this latest resignation that really deeply impacted me negatively? Well, this was one of the unusual situations where the person actually responded to me when I asked if they're coming to work in the new year. And they said, Dave, I had 2 interviews at the end of the year, and I have a new job. I won't be coming back. I am now free of you. And I thought, wow, this message is really loaded with trauma. It felt like it was written with a traumatic experience in mind. So I asked the person why they wrote the words, "I am free from you." And I put in there, "Am I a terrible person?" And I sent it. Now, I'm thinking several days later that maybe I shouldn't have sent it. Maybe I should have just said, "Thank you for your service up until now. If you ever want to come back, you're welcome to." So this morning I did send that message, and I've tried to forget the words that he said, "I am now free from you." But it's hard. It's still in here. It's still hurting me. Now, I could let that go on and fester for days and months, possibly years, and it could hold me back from a joy of running a successful business, employing multiple people. It's growing, and I believe that I'm destined to take on more and more of these people, despite the shortcomings of either myself or them. So I had to stop this morning and say, why is this hurting so much? Is it true that I have caused them trauma? Is it true that I'm a terrible person? Keeping in mind that I'm the one who said, "Am I a terrible person?" suspecting that I am. So I stopped and I thought about it, and I pulled out my trusty piece of paper and I wrote down the facts of the situation. Now the facts are, Debbie and I pay them well above the going rate, over 30%. They're paid on a full-time basis. They're paid for 38 hours per week, 40 hours I think, but they work typically 30, maybe 32 hours per week. So they're getting a day paid for free each week. That's 4 days per month, that's 48 days per year paid without having to come to work. They start when they want, they finish when they want. They do the jobs that they like doing. They choose which work they do. They do work wonderfully. They do serve our customers beautifully. If they need a day off, I give them a day off. And in the back of my mind, I am wondering, did this guy take 2 days off recently to do his interviews? Well, he may have, that's okay. That's done. But keeping on with the facts, I praise them. I give them bonuses. When they get a 5-star review, they get a cash bonus. I pay for their vehicles. I pay for their fuel, their insurance. When casuals start up in the business, I ask them what rate they expect. And I don't know why, but every time that's happened, they've asked for $20 per hour. I say, how about $30 per hour? And their eyes light up in shock and bewilderment. So the facts. Oh, and also on Friday nights, if they've had a good week, which is very often, Debbie and I give them our credit card and they go to their favourite Asian butcher and they buy whatever they would like as a bonus, additional to their pay. So when I look at that on paper, the facts tell me that I believe they've got a very good job, that they're paid well, that their hours are good, very good, that their lifestyle is good. And I'm not saying that they're going to become millionaires because of the pay that we give them, but we're not required to pay them that much. We're not required to give them a day off essentially each week. We're not required to give them bonuses. They're things that Debbie and I want to do to give them a wonderful lifestyle. Because, to be honest, the work that they are doing pays for our lifestyle, and we've been very blessed because of it. So we're happy to bless them in return. Then I guess the other part of it, which I didn't write down, but I'm realizing now, there were times when they really dropped the ball, when things just went very wrong and I had to pick up the pieces. And, you know, I was so tempted to yell at them. I've been very tempted many times to sack them because the reputational damage is massive. In one case, they were caught walking on roofs without safety harnesses, and that's a massive no-no. You know, they could die. But also, we lost contracts worth $100,000 because of it. So we could have sacked them, terminated their employment, got angry. But instead, we showed compassion and patience and spoke to them about what was happening that wasn't acceptable. Now, a lot of people would, I think, believe that's a really lovely way of handling the situation, because in business you do have to talk about these things with the staff when things that are unacceptable happen, when things go wrong, when the situation is not ideal. It's about constant improvement, which is what we're all about. Now, the guy who suddenly resigned this week really took one of those talks to heart and felt very offended, which was absolutely not my intention, but he did, and I suspect that's what caused him to resign. So once again, looking at it factually, I believe that the way I approached it was with a business owner's mind, but from a position of love. And so if he did feel offended, then at the end of the day, that's how he perceived it and not how I intended it. Which brings me to the point of the whole video. And this is massive. When you understand this, the whole world can change for you in a brilliant, beautiful, uplifting way. So I'm hoping that you're able to watch this far. And this is where the gold nugget of all gold nuggets is dropped. There are so many people who are wounded, who are damaged, who are broken, who are hurting in this world. And no matter what you do, no matter how you say it, no matter how you do it, even if you intend it from a position of love, there are people who will perceive it from their perspective, and they will not understand what you are intending, and in fact their default position is one of hurt, attack, victim status. Now I hope that they're watching today, but I suspect that they're not, because they've become comfortable with that position. So this video would help them. However, they're probably not watching. And it's the people who are watching that I hope that this helps. So what do you do when you're dealing with just about everybody these days? You have to be aware that the possibility is, the very likelihood is, that they are one of these people that perceive everything as an attack. No matter what you do to prove otherwise, no matter how far you go above and beyond, and I believe that Debbie and I have, they will perceive everything you do as a threat and an attack. And when you realise that, then you can deal with them. And you can decide whether you do deal with them or not. And you can protect yourself from their perspective, which is completely opposed to your perspective. So I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to work out within me how I deal with that sentence, I am free from you now. Factually, evidence-based observation would say, I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to hold on to it. I am a great person. In fact, I'm a wonderful person. And I am all about blessing those around me that are in my life. I'm all about blessing those that come to me for help. Many people say that I'm a light in the world, and I have to remember that. I don't say it myself, but I believe that I am. And I believe that if you're watching this, you are too. So the takeaway from today's message is this. There are so many wounded, damaged people, particularly since COVID, that think that everything is an attack, everything is an insult, and that no matter what you do, you won't be able to convince them otherwise. Even if you convince them momentarily, it will dissolve, and their alternative false reality will be their preset condition. Remember that you are a light. Remember that you are here to help people, the right people. Remember that the right people will come to you. Remember that when you do feel insulted, when you do feel hurt, allow it to slide over you and not hold on to it. Don't let it live in here. That's where the damage will start. That's where the lies will start to creep in. Write down the facts of who you are and how you've dealt with people. Be the light in the world. Continue to be brighter. If you found value today, I'd love you to go to the comments and put in there one word for me. Light. Would you do that for me? Just one word, light. I believe that will show the algorithm that this community really feels value with these videos, with this style of video. The positivity that's coming out of it, the teachings of resilience in a dark time. So do that for me and let the algorithm do the work for us to push videos like this to people in the world that need it, even those that will reject it, but they do need to hear it. They do need to know what people like us feel when they try to hurt us.